it was curious. I got a chance to see some things.
Yeah, but you were 13. What were you
I
seeing?
went there to see the lifestyle.
Right.
And I saw it. And it was, but I don't know if I could indulge and understand what I was even looking at. It was pretty wild.
I mean, I'm 13 years old. I'm not here to party with you. I don't want to go to the clubs. Matter of fact, I'm too young to even be in here. Why you got me in clubs? There were a lot of things I seen and a lot of positions that I think I was put in where I had to make very, very tough decisions in my life about who I would be.
You're a dad now. Would you ever send your kid to puppy camp?
Hell no.
Everyone's focused on Diddy's trial, but suddenly, bang. Usher makes some crazy accusations that no one anticipated coming. He didn't simply cast shade, he brought the whole storm. Usher reportedly has recordings, and not just any recordings. We're talking about recordings that might potentially expose Diddy for doing much more than anybody suspected. And prepare yourselves, for one insider believes Diddy put Usher in the hospital after pushing well beyond what everyone imagined. But first, let's be clear about something. Everything you're going to hear is based on media stories, leaked testimony, and internet conversation. So, if this turns your world upside down, realize that I'm only telling you what's already out there. Now, for the actual kicker. Usher was supposedly compelled to remain silent for years. We're talking about hush money, NDAs, and the pressure that kept him locked down. But guess what? He's not going to keep silent any longer. He's supposedly been keeping the receipts the whole time. Phone conversations, concealed videos, and voice notes dating back to 2004. That's 20 years worth of secrets, and he's ready to reveal them all. With Diddy's trial heating up, and more artists being called in to testify, Usher might be the one to blast everything wide open. According to insiders, he arrived before Cassie or anybody else, and what he witnessed was unsettling. Usher was 14 years old when he supposedly moved into Diddy's house, where he saw everything from shady parties to hidden cameras and weird auditions. People close to the incident claim this isn't vengeance. It is about survival. Usher was not simply around. He was trapped in the center, a witness and potentially a victim, and now may be the key to ripping everything down. Let's go back to when Usher was only 13 or 14 years old. Fresh-faced, just signed to LA Reid's LaFace Records, full of ambitions and eager to take on the world. Instead of providing him with safety and direction, LA Reid took an unusual move. He sent the young child to New York to live with none other than Sean Puffy Combs, the industry's craziest party king.
So I met Usher, Usher. I met him when he was 14, and my book actually opens with that because it was one of the highlights in my career. At 14 years old, this young guy comes walking into my office, and he starts singing. And I stop him early and say, wait a minute, hold up, this is too good. I need to go get some girls. So I bring all the girls from the office in, and Usher drops down on one knee and starts singing it to the prettiest girl in the room and starts seducing her with his eyes. He's 14. Yeah. And he has no fear, no anxiety, no nervousness, and he goes in and he nails it. And I'm like, okay, thank you.
Even L.A. Reid subsequently confessed that he wasn't sure if what allegedly happened in that flat was brilliance or just irresponsible. That's when everything became black. According to individuals close to the event, Usher was hospitalized after something horrible occurred behind those doors. That's correct. Insiders in the business, particularly those linked to Harlem at the time, said Diddy did something so frightening that Usher required emergency medical attention. Long before anybody gave names to the rumors, there were murmurs. People were talking about someone arriving in the ER, injured, afraid, and mute. One account even said that the guy was bleeding from the head. Even though nobody dared to use Usher's name at first, the dots gradually linked.
I know, and people know, that was around in that time that Puff and Usher did have a situation. And that situation led Usher to the hospital. Now I let Usher explain that to y'all. I let Usher tell that story. But how dare you say a man that you gonna give him a pass? Bruh, you know I know. Let me reframe you on something. Remember Usher?
Usher didn't completely understand the situation he was in at the time. But years later, in a flashback interview, he disclosed something disturbing. He was sent to Puffy's flavor camp at the Adidas age of 13 and resided there for a year. A whole year at that age, living with one of the game's most unexpected names. That's crazy.
And I lived with Sean Puffy Combs for a year.
That's the crazy thing. Now, that was L.A. Reid's idea, right? We're sending you
New
over
York
to
City.
something called Puffy Flavor Camp
There you go.
to learn
Flavor
some...
camp.
Yeah,
Flavor
that's what it
camp.
was called. And you're going to go to Puff Daddy's. He's going
In
to...
the 90s, do you understand what that's like?
But that amazing narrative was only the beginning. Later, when questioned about what life was like inside Diddy's mansion, Usher didn't disclose everything. But he also didn't keep it squeaky clean. Usher described the venue as packed with ladies, and the whole atmosphere as wild. He didn't mention every aspect, but he left enough hints to let others realize something was certainly wrong. He even said he didn't completely comprehend what he was seeing at the time, which says a lot.
It was curious. I got a chance to see some things.
Yeah, but you were 13. What were you
I
seeing?
went there to see the lifestyle,
Right.
And I saw it, and it was. But I don't know if I could indulge and understand what I was even looking at. It was.
You're a dad now. Would you ever send your kid to Puffy camp?
Hell no.
This is when things become even more shady. Diddy believed he was being slick. There's an old live stream video floating around the internet, and in it, he makes a serious mistake. He casually mentions that he and Usher used to wake up together back in the day. Then he catches himself. The whole energy changes.
Brother right here from day one, we used to wake up and, pause, but like that's out. I mean, back in the days when he was like 10 and I was a little bit older, his older brother, we used to fight over the frosted flakes. You know what I'm saying? Before pause was invented. You know what I'm saying? But it's my brother for real. We used to actually wrestle off of the frosted flakes because he used to always get them early. Now he let it really start, brother.
Yo, what the fuck did Puff just...
He tries to play it off by claiming Usher was about 10 and they used to dispute over frosted flakes or whatever. But by then, the harm had been done. The folks surrounding him were shaken, as if they couldn't believe what he'd just said. And it does not end there. One source claims that Usher was there for a meal with Diddy, Neo, Jimmy Iovine, and Cassie. What happens next? Diddy allegedly hit Cassie directly in the stomach at the table. None of those formidable guys said a single word. Not one. People online were astonished, particularly since Usher is a father himself. Now, watching him stop like that in front of something so terrible made many question how far Diddy's control extended. Was Usher terrified or conditioned? The manipulation was so profound that it's as if these artists never had a voice and may still not. But now it seems like Usher is finally waking up from everything, and it has been a long time coming. It wasn't simply a few strange instances. According to several reports, it was years of manipulation that pushed him to accept simply getting by. Over time, that survival style evolved into quiet. He continued his profession as if the incident had never occurred. But here is when things take a terrible turn. Usher did not just walk away from that event. He reportedly lured someone else into the same trap. That's correct. Usher, once under Diddy's sway, ended up bringing a 13-year-old Justin Bieber into the same business circle that almost destroyed him. In one interview, L.A. Reid even said that Usher brought Justin to him as a present. He raved on Justin's beauty before casually mentioning that Diddy had temporary guardianship of the child for 48 hours.
Justin Bieber walks into my office as a gift from Usher, who called a few minutes before and said, "Hey, I'm coming to your office at 3 o'clock. I have a very special gift for you." And he shows up with Justin Bieber.
So check this out, yo. Justin, you ever seen the movie 48 Hours? Right now, he's having 48 hours with Diddy, him and his boy. They're having the times of their lives, like where we hanging out and what we doing. We can't really disclose, but it's definitely a 15-year-old's dream. I have been given custody of him. He signed to Usher. I had legal guardianship of Usher when he did his first album. I did Usher's first album. I don't have legal guardianship of him, but for the next 48 hours, he's with me. So and we gonna go full crazy.
Going crazy.
Crazy.
I'm taking this out tonight.
What you wanna do? What you wanna do over the next 48 hours?
48 hours. Let's go. Let's just go get some girls. Let's go hang with some girls.
Let's go hang out with some ladies. But it did not end there. Justin ended up spending unsupervised time with Diddy, even partying with him while he was just 15. That is genuine. There is video available to support it. In one film, Diddy is seen asking Justin weird things that simply don't seem right, then warned him not to repeat what happened when they were hanging together. And if that isn't enough to raise eyebrows, things get worse. In another film, Diddy directly asks Bieber whether he's wearing a wire. He acted as if he knew something sinister was about to go off at any time. That's not just unusual, it's downright disturbing. Music, the Usher. He can't just avoid the heat anymore. People close to the case are now calling him out, claiming he had a role in exposing Bieber to the same storm from which he barely survived. One guy on the internet even claimed that Usher was one of Diddy's first. Some argue that since he exposed Justin to all of this, he belongs in the same category as Diddy. As additional footage and tales resurface, people are connecting the links and seeing warning signs they overlooked the first time. And it's not just Usher and Bieber anymore. This goes far deeper. Freddie P also came out, stating that Diddy influenced his own kid. He allegedly kept the youngster close, isolated him from his father, and showered him with gifts to buy his quiet.
Well, that's different, huh? You ain't been calling me and hanging out the way we used to hang out.
Well, I mean, you try to get in contact with me, through all my, partners and whatnot. But you never really got my number, so.
Correct. Okay.
My number?
Yeah.
Try my number.
The message. Diddy wasn't just keeping people under control. He was raising the people who could take him down one day. But it was Diddy's bond with his mother that really shocked folks. There's a video of him kissing his 83-year-old mother on the lips, referring to her as Dukes, claiming she's unmarried and ready to mingle, and even joked about bringing her to strip clubs. Seriously? And yes, she was observed wearing white nail paint. And if you've been following the issue, you'll already know that this tiny detail isn't innocent. And the tale gets much deeper. Gondil, a former bodyguard and longtime industry insider, said that Diddy's own mother ran a modeling firm that was essentially a front for prostitution services.
It's more deeper questions that I be wanting to know, like, why were you so infatuated with a child that wasn't yours? Were you that little boy? I don't even want to start those conversations because that's not your child. You know what I'm saying? And for you to keep him that close, it's like you kept him that close because he might got your secrets because he's not your child. So if he's not your child and you that type of person with that type of character, you don't mind actually doing it to him when he finally reaches a certain age because he's not yours.
He claims she had a significant influence on Diddy's personality, even going so far as to accompany him to the famed freak-off parties. Yes, you read that correctly. People began to voice their opinions online as well. One user did not hold back, writing, "She always appeared strange to me." Probably messed with his head from the start. And when you look at the whole image, including Usher, Bieber, Cassie, Diddy's own kid, and now his mother, it stops seeming random. It first seems to be a completely functional system that has been meticulously constructed. Another individual online made the point that although Usher may have started off as a victim, he ultimately became a facilitator at the very least. People are persuaded that Justin is a victim. One person said, "You can see that in the way he behaves now, as if he's still carrying that weight around today." This isn't simply gossip anymore. It seems to be a long-running trend that has affected far too many people, and now they are seeking answers. They want the whole truth revealed, and for everyone concerned to ultimately accept the consequences. And just when you think it can't be much more twisted, another layer peels back, revealing something even more terrible. Whispers in the business now point to a secret list. A list of celebrities who supposedly knew what was going on, but remained silent to protect their careers. Or worse, Diddy. According to insiders, some of the greatest stars in music, fashion, and movies attended these secret events, or were aware of what was going on behind the scenes. These were not frequent gatherings. These were invitation-only gatherings, with phones checked at the entry, cameras covered, and NDAs flying like confetti. People weren't just partying. They were monitored, recorded, and controlled. According to one former assistant, if you were at the mansion, either played along or got blackballed. There's no in between. That's why so many people remained mute, afraid to speak out. And now, with lawsuits stacking up, old recordings emerging, and victims finding their voices, the terror behind the scenes is palpable. Some celebrities are removing old images from their social media accounts, erasing postings, and ghosting interviews in an attempt to remove themselves before their names make news. Next, fans are now clocking everything. They aren't simply watching Diddy. They're monitoring everyone who stood close to him, benefited from him, or remained silent while others were injured. Because it's no longer simply about Diddy's actions. The question is who allowed it to happen? It's ridiculous how everything continues coming together like a giant filthy puzzle. From Usher's early days to Bieber's unusual trip to Cassie, and even Diddy's own family, a picture is emerging that is difficult to deny. But now everyone is wondering whether Usher will ever be able to reverse what he has done. Is this simply the beginning of a reckoning Diddy never saw coming? Because, let's be honest, these bombshells aren't just about Diddy. They're revealing details about a long-protected system. And as the walls begin to close in, we're watching to see who speaks out and who remains in the shadows. So, what are your thoughts on this mess? Is Usher attempting to put things right? Or is he too deep? In trouble to come clean? Share your opinions in the comments. We are reading everything. We're keeping a watch on every twist, leak, and name that comes up next. If you want the raw truth, no sugarcoating. So what do you think? Drop your thoughts in the comments section below. And if you don't want to miss out on the hottest celebrity news, make sure to subscribe to Daily Finder.